rolling. Welcome back, man. How you
Back,
doing?
man. I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Let's get a look. One of those.
Jabba juice.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
So, what you been up to lately? Anything new on the agenda?
Ain't much. I had some personal stuff. Not gonna bring that up.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing alright given the circumstances.
Yeah. Okay. And last time we talked about bringing up an hormone episode, but we
Yes.
will save that for the next time, I think.
Yep, it's been postponed.
It's been postponed. There's quite a lot of materials to go through,
Yeah.
and it's quite a heavy subject.
Yep.
If you really want to dabble and deep dive into the hormonal seas, if you
Yep.
will. But today we thought we could talk a little about our years during our studying years.
Yeah.
When we spent our studying years in Sweden, Umeå, and yeah, you wanna like kick it off?
I could kick it off. I
We
think
could talk about like how we got started with the education and how it differs between countries, because now we work in Finland, but we started in Sweden. We could talk about a little how does it differ in education. We don't know that much about education because we only like study in Sweden, but we can like see the differences in the work itself.
yeah.
Because there are quite big differences, I think, between the countries, like on the workload and priorities in the like hospitals and those kinds of stuff. And later on, we will finish it off with some personal stories that we both
Hell yeah.
experienced during those fun times, because we lived together for quite some time there.
Yeah.
We could like begin to say that I actually lived by myself in the like first year.
Yeah.
Was it the second year you came to live?
Yeah, you started off with the education 1 year before me,
Yeah.
and you lived by yourself then that first year.
Yeah, because I remember I think I was doing some type of practice in the first year. Then I got to Vasa, and then I lived at your place here in Vasa before you came to Sweden.
Oh yeah.
It was like one of the first months in the education where you spend like a week with a occupational therapist to see how they work in practice and those kind of stuff. And then you studied too, I believe. Was it like economics?
Productional economics, something
Yeah.
like that, whatever.
And then I stayed at your place while I was there and doing that, and then I went back. But after that, we like started to discuss with a friend of mine to like try to bring you to Sweden.
Oh,
And
you guys had it planned.
yeah,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
try to introduce you to the Swedes, because both him and me myself thought it was like a good idea, because Sweden is such a like pleasant country to both study and live in.
Yeah.
And I have always felt like more of a Swede than I feel like as a Finn, because I'm more talkative sometimes with the right persons, of course. I'm more open, more positive. I like to reflect on things, and those are all traits of a like typical Swede to me. I never liked the Finnish culture of like being this introvert, like quiet and avoiding social stuff. Is like typical Finnish.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really liked it there. But then you got to Sweden, second year, and we moved.
First few months we lived together when I moved over.
Yeah, it was while I had my really small
Yeah.
place. It was like 19
Square
square
feet,
square
meters.
square meter.
Yeah.
It was just a big room with a toilet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm. I had a blow-up mattress
Yeah,
that I
right.
slept on
Yeah.
the floor.
But it worked
It worked.
because I think the first place should be like not that big of a place.
Yeah.
My thought in the moment was like, I just need a roof over my head,
Yeah.
and then I'm pleased with that, and I was.
Yeah. Same.
But then I got the like bigger
Mm.
bigger apartment really close to this common friend of
Mhm.
ours. It was like almost 60 square meters.
Yeah. It was big.
It was big and really cheap.
Mm.
We paid like 4,000 Swedish crowns, which
Yep.
is as much as like 400 euros
Yeah. Around.
approximately. And that's really, really cheap
Mm.
for that size.
Yeah.
Because I almost paid as much for the 19 square
Yeah.
meters, so it was like a steal to me. And it
Not
got,
only that. Oh fuck.
oh
I
shit,
spilled on your shit.
that's okay.
That's okay. But water was included in the price,
Yeah,
and electricity was included in the price,
hmm
and that was good. And
Yeah.
we had access to like a facility where we could clean our clothes and stuff
yeah,
for free.
yeah. And I think it was like more cheap just because it was in an area that was like a little bit outside the campus. No one, not a lot of students, like partied or lived there. Some of them did, but it was this more center place called
Yeah.
Olidhem, which was more popular
Yeah.
to like study and have all these kinds of
Yeah.
parties, I think. So it was little outside of that, but still it was just 15 minutes to walk to
Yeah.
Olidhem from our place.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was almost like 2 kilometers flat to the university.
yeah, I think so. It was a good distance, I think,
Yeah.
because we walked everywhere.
Yeah.
We walked to school, we
Mhm.
walked to the gym, we walked to some
To
friends
yeah,
or
to the
the
bar,
store,
to
to the bar,
downtown.
to the parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We even could like walk if it was
Yep.
5 kilometers or
Mhm.
something, because
Like after the bar, we easily walked home.
yeah,
Like 5-6 kilometers even sometimes.
yeah.
No problem.
But I think both of us are individuals that enjoy walking that much,
Yeah.
because I've always enjoyed
Yeah.
walking, even if it were like longer distances. That's also a reason why I never rushed to get an own car here in Vasa as well, because right now I drive my mother's car, but I'm about to get my own very soon, just because I want a car of my own. I don't need it right now per se, but it's nice to have like a vehicle to
Yeah,
call your own.
Yep.
So
I agree.
that's like a project I'm working on right now. Thinking of buying an Audi, something German at least. I enjoy the German cars. Not a BMW, but it's a Audi or a Volkswagen.
Okay.
But right now it's between an Audi A4 or an like bigger model like Q5 maybe,
Yeah.
or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. But going back to the like university years, you studied in both countries. You didn't study that much in Finland,
No.
I believe. But
A little
can you tell us something you noticed between the countries,
Well-
both in studying and, of course, now when we work as well?
Well, the curriculums were a little bit like different. But it is a university, the one I was in here as well.
Yeah.
But we had all sorts of subjects: Finnish, math, physics, economics,
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the economics and business, but everything else was lackluster to me. And we had them all at once, sort of like we had in upper secondary school, or
Yeah.
like our gymnasium, or Lukio for you Finnish listeners. And I just didn't like that curriculum at all.
Mm.
But when I moved to Sweden and started university there, we had like 1-2 months of just one subject.
Mm.
And I thought that was amazing. I thrived studying that way.
I agree with that, because that's something that surprised me a bit with the like Finnish system, because yeah, of course you have that in gymnasium and like this ordinary schools before you go to university. That's like a common thing, I get that, but I didn't know it was like as popular as common to have the same curriculum in university here, like having Finnish and English and all this.
Well, that depends. Some schools, which could be something like an engineer or something like that, they're gonna have to be really knowledgeable and good in subjects like math, physics, and computing and stuff like that. So they have to have a different set of like what do you call them, subjects to like blend in order to actually master their sort of education. But I mean, I don't see why they couldn't do like one in one go.
I don't know, but I do enjoy the Swedish system
I
more.
enjoyed it too.
Because I feel like I could focus way much more on the subject itself, and it depends on the person, of course, but I know myself, I need really good amount of time to lay on a subject to actually learn it. And that's what I did, because you could spend like many weeks, even months on one subject. Then you learn. And we had like classes and courses that in my opinion were too short, but it was still just one focus. So I really like that.
Some were too long as well.
It was this like topics that we really didn't need. Like you could need it if you apply to specific domains, like if you want to start own companies or entrepreneurship. We had courses like that, and that's great if that's in your plans, and I get why they have it, but maybe shorten it a little bit.
They put a lot of emphasis on it, I think.
And one of the classes that I think were too short were the like anatomy. Not the anatomy itself, that too could be a little bit longer, because that's a really demanding class. So you need time, because you literally have to learn Latin. So it's not just to study it like that, and it takes time. But it was not the anatomy itself, I think it was the physiology. I think was only...
Oh yeah, that one was really short.
It was
4
just
weeks,
a couple...
maybe? 4 weeks?
Not even that, we had shorter, we had just 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Or something like that.
Yeah, maybe we had that too.
So that was something I would have liked to have more of, because that's a topic that I don't know much about. I learned a lot about like anatomy, and especially when I'm that passionate about psychology, I dabbled around the like neuro anatomy side, but I never learned that much about like the cardiovascular system, the heart, the organs, and those kinds of topics. So that like hanged in the air a little bit for me. But that's not something we have to know per se. But for me, it was something I wanted to know more about. Still can learn about it though. But that system, I do enjoy it, because it's much more efficient way of learning.
I think, like, even if it was like one of those garbage entrepreneur courses, you still learned a lot,
Yeah.
like of that, even if you weren't interested in it. Like,
Yeah, and
it's such a good layout for education, for me at least. It worked really well, and there wasn't one course where I didn't feel like I know this at the end.
yeah, because that was like a common thing for us when we started education. We didn't really know what occupational therapy really was,
Yeah.
like until months in on the education.
Yeah.
I had a little clue about the whole idea, but occupational therapy is so
Vague.
and like broad. It's just not one topic. Like physical therapists focus on the
Yeah.
physical, like flaws and attributes and things like that, while we as occupational therapists, we look at the physical, we look at the mental, we look at the emotional, we look at the spiritual, we look at the environment especially. We look at like, do these individuals need like some type of aid? Like if there have been an accident, they may need more support than their loved ones.
Yeah.
Maybe wheelchairs or materialistic aids.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, so I really learned a lot from that. But another thing that I also think is better in Sweden is the like what is it in English? Rating system.
Oh, you think so? That one I don't think is better.
In some ways, because here I believe it's like you get a grade from 1 to 5.
Yeah,
I think.
so.
Yeah. And in Sweden, it's like you get a G for like passing. You could get a VG for like it's really good. It's like the best you could get. And was it like IG for not passing?
Yeah, not passing was
Yeah, so it's like
IG.
3 different letters, and the idea for that was like if we take an occupation like lawyer or doctor, you will need a system that demands the numbers, because when you have these like high performance occupations, you could affect the workplace you want to work at, like if you got higher grades. But when it comes to occupational therapy, it doesn't matter really if you get a G or VG. They don't look at that.
No, they don't.
It doesn't matter. But that was just a like maybe system for yourself to like prove yourself, to try to get that VG maybe. I think it relieved some pressure on a lot of students instead of like instead of like aiming and obsessing over having to get the 4 or 5 or like the higher numbers. You could like, it's okay, I got a G. That's really good still. It could be really good and amazing if you get the VG. It's just good for your own sense of worth. It's like, for me at least, it took a lot of pressure off to having to get the perfect grade.
It did.
So it depends, of course, what you're after.
Don't
but
you know diamonds are made under pressure?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, so it depends on what you like. Need for yourself.
I do get that. It was definitely a huge stress of your back, and I could see how it like drives you more competitively instead if you have the numbers. Then you can see the numbers and like maybe I want the bigger number. But I mean, you could still aim for the VG if you wanted. But
because let's say if it's a bigger gap between 5 and 1 in comparison to G and VG, because that's just one step. So in that sense, it's like more comforting in a way. And I mean, if you don't need higher grades than the like G, why aim? You could aim high, of course, but like I said, it was a quite pleasant system for me, at least.
I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't struggle. I feel like it wasn't easy, but I didn't have to put my whole life into it.
No, and I still like aimed for the VG, the top score
Did you?
in every class. Not every, but I got quite a lot of VGs.
I aimed for the G, but I
Yeah.
still got some VGs.
So
too.
it still felt good to
Yeah.
like be able to get the highest
Mm.
grade still. But then we have classes like anatomy.
Mm.
In that I just wanted to pass because that was hard.
Yeah.
But if we talk about like the occupational therapeutic specific classes, there was some I was like noticing early on. This is doable. This is not easy, but I got it quite fast.
Did you know that I didn't even buy one book during our whole education? Because
Oh,
I
really?
used yours.
All right. Yeah, I do know that, but I haven't thought about it that you actually didn't buy a single book.
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. I
Because those books were quite expensive.
yeah, I actually got off like a bandit not buying those books, but I feel like those books, they're good to have even now when we're working.
Yeah, I still use some of those books. I've sold some of them, but I have one or two of the main ones left. Gesundheit.
Danke schon.
Dankeschön. So they're quite good to have, but I use more like psychiatric literature
Yeah.
right now. So right now I don't need them, but it's good to have
Yeah.
on the shelf.
Well, speaking of work,
Yeah.
what do you feel differ in the realm of work in occupational therapy between Sweden and Finland?
Now it of course depends on the like area
Yeah.
we work in, because majority of my time working as an occupational therapist has been in psychiatric care. But even in psychiatric care, I could connect the dots that in Sweden they have way more updated like systems. Like they have newer data journaling systems. They also have way more resources. Also newer kinds of resources. If we talk about, we use a lot of these supports like cognitive support. In Sweden, when I did my practice, I used a lot of like time planning boards,
Like cognitive support aids.
aids. Yes, like those boards that could be good for planning, organizing your day if you have had like intellectual and learning disabilities. I also tried to use weighted like blankets. Here in Vasa, they don't have that at all.
No. I've had clients where I've looked at those and I've told the parents to the child who's therapy. I've had like, hey, you could look at these stuff and maybe search to get some like funding from our like government support system or whatever. And they might get some money back, but usually people have to get that stuff themselves here.
Yeah, and that's another issue because you can't get everything by yourself.
No.
Because often the occupational therapists have to describe like prescribe the item you need, like if it's a wheelchair or something like that. Often it is like that. Some things you could actually just buy yourself, depending on how sick you are and what you need and what kind of like support you need. It depends, and then it becomes an issue if we talk about like here in Finland, because we have way less like resources for this. And then if they actually can't get it by themselves, it's like becomes a big problem.
Yeah. Some people could get stuff like that through their insurance here as well.
Yeah, they can. But I remember it was so much easier in Sweden.
Yeah.
Because I think it was my last practice, which I did in Skellefteå. I actually did both of my practices in Skellefteå, but the last one I worked in a like stroke rehabilitation center for older people. And then where we had our office, the next door, like literally 1 meter next to our door in the office, we had like a whole room with wheelchairs and all these kinds of support.
Yeah.
We could just grab it and go to the like client we had to visit, and here we have to like go to the central where they keep all of the stuff, which is often far away. And even then they don't have everything of it. It's not as much of a demand. Well, the demand is even bigger, but we don't have the resources, that's all.
Yeah.
So
and
that
now they're cutting back even more.
excellent.
Thank God.
Thank God.
They're saving money in the right place.
Yeah, but you work in private sector right now.
Private sector.
Have you always worked in private sector?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to compare to, like really what I do now compared to what I did in Sweden.
Yeah.
I can't really compare because
No.
I don't know if they did what I do now at all in Sweden.
Yeah.
So that's something that maybe is more evolved here, like the hands-on therapy where you have to get really creative.
That's actually something I want to bring up as well, because that's quite common that Finns are more practical, doing more like you said, hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
In Sweden, they can do that as well, but Swedes are known to like talk a lot, to reflect, to discuss instead of getting to the point like immediately.
Yeah.
And I know some or quite a lot of people think this is a weakness, but I beg to differ, because I'm exactly like this. I like to like reflect around big solutions, and I hate like writing or speaking through like.
So you like the foreplay?
Yeah, I like the hell yeah, I like the foreplay.
Well, who doesn't? To
Yeah.
be honest, yeah.
So,
Nice.
but in Sweden, that was a quite special domain in our classes.
Yeah.
It was often that we had to like write or reflect after a class, or we had some topics. We had to write down what did we think about this and what kind of emotions.
Actually, it was like after every course.
Yeah.
We had to like write a reflection, and that was part of it. Was an assignment that we had to do.
Yeah, and I remember a lot of people was like, "What the hell do we have to do this?"
I was one of those people.
Yeah, I know, and this is silly. I wasn't, because as I said, that I like to reflect. I think it's a really.
I think I definitely evolved it.
But
there too.
even I have realized more and more during the years how genius it was.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it's just because I work in psychiatric care and I work daily with like the importance of reflection.
Yeah.
Because the more you reflect on even unimportant things, the more you reflect, the more self-awareness you gain. Doesn't matter what you reflect on, but as long as you reflect on something, you gain self-awareness. And that's often one big factor behind mental health issues in the first place, because people are unaware of what they're feeling, who they are, what kind of identity they have in the society, and things like that. That's just like a big reason behind anxiety, OCD, psychosis, things like that.
Yeah.
But now when I think about back, it was actually a quite good thing to
Yeah.
reflect on these kinds of things. But I can see in the moment how it
Felt tedious.
felt like tedious and really useless in a way,
because we had done like maybe a test or a big assignment, and you passed,
Yeah.
and then they slap you with like, oh, time to reflect, kids. So because I'd already like let go a little bit at
Yeah.
that point, but I see that's not what I should have done. The reflection is there to make me keep that knowledge that I've gained.
Yeah, and I wanna mention that one last thing before we move on to our stories.
Oh yeah.
When we talked about like reflecting, I actually wanted to talk about this last time, but recently I've started journaling.
Yeah.
I got myself a bullet journal. Are you fond of this? Do you know what it is?
I think I know the concept. I've done journaling in the past. I've done dream journaling in the past as well. And I felt like regular journaling, it was alright. It was pretty cool. I like just sitting and writing. I like the act of doing that. But I really saw a difference in doing dream journaling, because then I started to, like, after a little while, to remember every single dream I had.
Really?
Even if I had several dreams a night, I could like remember 7 different dreams one night.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I've always like dwelled on how that actually works, or if it works.
Well, we don't know how it works.
Or if it works, but that's.
And sometimes I'd wake up, I'd write down a dream, then I'd go back to sleep. And I'd wake up and I'd write down a dream.
Okay, so could you like describe how it works, like within, let's say, a week or like shorter span? Is it just like you wake up and write down as much as possible that you could remember and do the same thing the next night?
And you could also have these moments where you just write down fast, like it was this like keywords, topics, like when you later read them, like during the day or before you go to bed again, next night.
Yeah.
You can then I wrote it down, the whole story as I remembered it, and it comes back to you, and that process of remembering the dream just gets like stronger. That's how you like enhance that neural pathway of remembering the dream.
Yeah. And do you use, let's say, if you actually gain a big and clear memory of a certain dream, do you do something of that dream later? Do you reflect on that dream, what its purpose is? Or
I did think about like the purpose of some dreams, but I think that might not be too good to sit and dwell on, because it could just be random stuff that you're processing like while you sleep.
Yeah.
Thrown together. It doesn't have to be that deep.
No, it doesn't have to be. But what I've done, as I said, it's called bullet journaling, and it's driven by this Joe method. Stands for bullet journaling, but it's like not just ordinary journaling where you write down your thoughts or what you've been through throughout the day or something like that. You do that too, but it's like a combination between productivity and mindfulness.
Yeah.
So you reflect on what are you doing throughout the day, but also why are you doing it. So you get a lot of like, the standard stuff where you write down your routines, your daily behaviors, maybe your goals within a certain topic, maybe a calendar to keep track of time and days and times like that. But you also have things that you could write down, like emotional stuff, reflections. Let's say if you have a lot on your plate, like a lot of stress or anxiety, you could have a like page where you reflect on that. because writing stuff down on a paper is so much more efficient than just writing it even on a computer, because it's that pen to paper effect. It's so much more like valuable, I think. And like I started doing it this month now, like starting from February. So I've just been doing it now for a couple of days, because in January I wanted to like structure and create my own like system, because you can like set it up as you want. And I set it up like I got the ordinary like calendar with yearly, monthly and daily log, where I just has it as a reminder for things. Then I track my like fitness like related stuff, like my weight 1st February and my weight last. Maybe write down stuff that I want to work and focus on in my training, on specific lifts. I will probably make my training programs there as well. Then I have some pages where I track daily behaviors and like things I need, where I have like this whole page where I've written like vitamins, maybe ZMA, creatine, alcohol, caffeine, all these things I do and want to like take or use or do daily. I can track it. If I've done it, I like write a dot on the day, and then I can see like that week I didn't drink that much caffeine during those days. And then below that, connected to the same like tracking, I use like to track my sleep with like stress, mood. So we could like have every day in a month and a scale that goes like up to 10, which I could like rate 0 to 10 how it feels. Like how well did I sleep? Maybe an 8. I slept well. I put an 8. Then my mood probably will be higher. Maybe that's a 7. Then I put a 7 on the mood. And same with the like stress levels. How stressed am I? Then I keep track of those 3 in relation to each other throughout the month.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Then I can like see how it dips, how it increases or decreases. Then I can connect the dots, like why did my sleep get worse, or why did it skyrocket during that time? Gesundheit. So that's just like I don't need to track it, but it's just a fun way to see like if something changes, I can probably connect the dots why it changes. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's That's kind of cool. Didn't know about that concept. But I understand. I like data, collecting data. So I think that's kind of nice.
And for me, it's a good way to like keep a structure in my daily life. And like I said, I don't need to like get reminded by this stuff or track them. I don't need that, but I think it's a very efficient way to get self-aware of what you're actually doing in your daily life within weeks, months, and so on. And as I said, it's my first month. I'm trying it out. I will maybe adapt to some more new or other systems in the other months. And that's great. You can like adapt for each month as you go on. So far, I like the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we will have to see how it like develops. So yeah, highly recommended to try that. Yeah.
All right. Let's do one story.
I'm gonna get some water. Yeah.
From
start it off.
From our uni years, and I think we should talk about our
elephant in the room.
Let's talk about a certain party we held.
Yeah.
Oh, it was our housewarming party, and things got rowdy.
Things got rowdy, all right.
We started the day off early with drinking.
Do you remember how early it was? It was like because
3:30 maybe.
to give a little context,
Mm.
I think we started with this like after school party
Yeah.
because on Fridays our like institute or like class had this like house we could go to
Yeah.
on Fridays
Mm.
after school. It's called EPP.
Yeah.
But if we translate it from Swedish, it's like after school pub.
Yeah.
So it had to be a Friday, but
Yeah. It was a Friday.
maybe it was like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I think we got there like 3, and we both bought straight off the bat each. We started off with one like what do you call them? I don't even know.
Is it a pint?
No, it's bigger. It's like a.
It's like a can. How many?
Can.
How many?
I think there's like 4 pints in one of those.
Yeah, but it was big.
Yeah.
And I drank 2 of those
Yeah.
by myself.
So did I.
Yeah, you drank 2 as well.
I
yeah.
had 2
Sorry.
as well,
Yeah.
and I think we got home around 6-ish.
Yeah, and then
Funnily enough, I don't remember walking home even.
me neither. Because there's a reason why we don't remember.
Yeah.
It's I remember some stuff, but I got way more wasted than you did, I think.
I started puking a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
too, so
I think I have a video of you like puking in the sink in the kitchen.
Yeah. No, I didn't puke in the sink. I puked out the window, and
Or was that another party?
that could be, yeah.
Yeah.
And I washed myself in the sink.
Yeah, that could be, yeah. Yeah, but like you said, got home maybe 6.
Yeah.
Then we had the pre-party before our housewarming party.
Yeah.
Because why the hell not?
Yeah.
We were psyched.
Yeah.
Wait,
maybe we went straight to Systembolaget. I don't
I
remember.
think
Maybe
we had to do that because that closes quite early in Sweden.
No, maybe we bought the beer one day before.
Yeah,
Could have been. I don't know. But at home we did something called the Gandalf Staff Challenge, Wizard Staff Challenge, something like that. It's where you like tape when you have drank 1 can of beer, you tape it to the next one, and then when you drink the next one, you tape that on top of another one until you have a staff.
Yeah. And that was just one example of the things we could do, especially on pre-parties. We had like these kinds of not rituals, but certain things we did and offered when our guests arrived as well.
Yeah.
We often did the Edward 40 hands.
Yeah.
Every time a new guest arrived, if we had our own party, we had this game, like a starting game.
Yeah.
When we asked the guests to pick out 2 of their own drinks or cans or whatever they brought.
Yeah.
And we taped it with like silver tape.
Yeah.
And then they had to drink both of them before they could do anything else because they couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't go to the bathroom. They couldn't pick out their phone.
I think, did we do that as well that time?
Could be.
Or it could have been another party, but I remember one girl started puking while she had her hands taped.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. But I don't think that was the same.
No, that could have been another party actually, but that's funny.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, because you really have to like pace yourself through that, especially if you have to go to the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think we also keep track of who were the fastest.
Yeah.
I don't remember who like stayed on the record. I believe it was Ricky, maybe.
I don't remember either.
Because I don't remember the specific time either, but it was below a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe even 15 seconds or something was the fastest.
I don't remember what other parties or like party games we did that night because I think I was gone after.
We got fucked up.
Yeah. I think when we got home, I think I had like maybe 7 more beers.
Mm.
On top of that, I had half a bottle of hard liquor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this, what I had, is a lot. It's too much. But it's nothing compared to what you had.
No, because during, well, literally my whole studying studying years, I drank quite a lot because I was a quite big fella.
Yeah.
So I noticed early on that, hey, I can handle my liquor.
Yeah, you were well conditioned to
Not-
the liquor.
Yeah, well, handled, but when I actually didn't handle it, it was absurdly amounts of liquor I drank, because I could drink almost a whole, like, what is it? This like 24 pack.
Yeah.
Often I could share some more with another person, but it was close to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then the first years I wasn't that heavy. I was just 2 digits. But later on, when I gained more weight, both in muscle and fat, of course, I also increased like my tolerance for alcohol. But we also drank a lot, so the more we drank, the less like affected we got by like every time. Because
drank most weekends.
Yeah, and some weekends even like twice.
Yeah.
It was like part of the culture. It's like, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun stuff. But now when you think back, it's like, holy shit, that was
it's a little
crazy.
bit excessive.
Because it was even some times or some parties when I was on the brink of having to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like every party. That was like maybe 2 times.
Yeah.
2, maybe 3 times. I don't know.
I don't.
But like if we think a regular party, it was that like between 8 and 15, I think. I drank. But we often started off pretty early as well and had that like living the life mentality. Didn't care because we had that, and a lot of students has that. And it's quite funny when a lot of students say that, no, I'm not addicted, I'm just a student. But of course it is an addiction. But
it dawned on me once while I was studying. I was sitting in class.
I think you told me this.
I've told you this. I was sitting in class and I thought to myself, oh boy, I would like to be drunk right now. And then I sort of like, wait a minute. I caught myself immediately like, hey buddy, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Because
something's not right.
Because me and my friend group in Sweden, we had been out like every weekend. Every weekend I had at least like 1 bottle of liquor and a few beers with that. So
and
it became too much. At that point when I realized like I had that thought, that feeling like I could be this way right now, then I knew that's like gone too far. So I already then pumped the brakes a little to not go too far.
And it's like, even if you think about it right now, it's like really fucked up and crazy, like unhealthy both behaviors and like routines we had. But again, it often is like that when you're studying. We
still went to the gym like 4 or 5 days a week.
Exactly. And it's like, even if we did that wasn't good and it wasn't like healthy. But that's still in the past. There was quite a lot of good memories from it.
I think it was good times. And I feel like I got all of like the partying I wanted to do in
Yeah,
my
you
life
say
out of my
yeah,
system.
you said that, and I totally agree because in the like ending years when we studied, I felt like yeah, I drank a lot, and now when I think back, it's amazing how I like got out of it that easily because
Yeah.
you know how addicted I was,
Yeah.
quite heavily addicted to it, and
Oh yeah, you like sometimes you had a little bit of a scotch late
Yeah.
in the evening on weekdays too.
Yeah.
So
and that's it's really really amazing because right now I'm the healthiest I've ever been, but it was a stage of my life where I thought that I would like never get out of
Yeah.
those kinds of routines. But now I like drink. I haven't partied or like drunken more than
Yeah.
like 3-4 in a night in over a year.
Oh, okay.
I have been at the bar one time in a year now, and then I think I drank 4 beers and a scotch. We were at O'Malley's,
Yeah.
so that's like the most. But
Yeah.
then I could enjoy like 1 beer on a Friday night if we're watching a
Same.
movie with my girlfriend or
Same.
something like that, or if we're out eating in
Yeah.
a restaurant, could have a wine glass.
Yeah.
Not often wine as much, but same with the beer.
Yeah.
But I haven't partied like that since Sweden, really.
Yeah.
So that's really like amazing how it could switch, and it is hard to get out of behaviors like that. But I think training was a big part of it.
Yeah. And it also depends on the environment. We were in like an environment where you like if you wanted to have fun and thrive and be with your friends, you had to like you didn't have to drink, you could just show up.
Yeah.
But drinking sure as hell made it more fun.
Yeah, and a lot of it has come from when I met my girlfriend as well, because she also explained like the most she has like drinking in a night is like 6 like servings, and she was like, no, never doing that again. She's like super healthy.
Is that the most she's ever done?
She's like, she rarely like parties.
Yeah.
And another thing that I really adore in her is like her ability to not needing others.
Yeah.
So just the ability to be at parties without drinking. But yeah, I could come to parties, but I don't need to drink.
That's great. Yeah.
And not like needing to go everywhere. Just if we want to do something, do it by yourself if someone doesn't want to do it with you.
Yeah.
And that's one of many things I learned. So it's more of a thing that I've been inspired to be more healthy, just to be more like her.
Yeah.
So now it's more of a natural thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I never thought in the end that I had a crisis. Yeah, I was addicted, but I never had that oh my God, I need to turn this around.
Yeah.
Because I was already in that toxic environment. So I never got to that thought because everyone around me, like you said, were as toxic.
Yeah.
So you get like stuck in this loop
Yeah.
because you never realize it's something like bad or
Yeah.
wrong. Same with the people pleasing, which I mentioned
Yeah.
before. You never realize that that's a bad thing to do because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
But later on, when you switch environments, you actually realize, that's actually quite unhealthy. And then you can like reflect how you're doing it and how you should be doing it and things like that. So that's one of many things that I learned now, and yeah.
Well, I think it's still okay, like every once in a while. To
Yeah,
go
because
out and
you
have fun.
still need to have fun and
Yeah.
live your life. but I don't have that same need anymore either.
Same. I even the times that I do, I think it's more peer pressure than anything because I know how bad I'm going to feel the day after.
Yeah, and
So-
that's also the thing that when you study and as you explained, when you're in that environment, you're actually living for other people.
Yeah.
You're never living for your own self.
Yeah.
And that's something like I've been focusing on myself. Like if I want to do something and someone else maybe doesn't approve of it or doesn't want to do it with me, I do it by myself
Yeah.
for my own good. And that's been like the best choice I have ever made.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good reflection.
All right. On that note, thank you for tuning in to another episode.
Hell
of
yeah,
the-
more of this to come.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe doing some story only episodes.
Yeah.
We got a lot left in the bag,
Hell yeah.
and
Yeah.
we'll catch you.
Yeah, I was gonna add one last thing to the viewers. We were thinking about starting a new like series
Yeah.
where we get to like review your form.
Yep.
You could send in like videos or even just pictures where you perform a lift.
Yeah.
Preferably squat, deadlift, bench, could be overhead press as well. Or if you want, just any lift to get reviewed.
Yeah.
And we were
Forward to-
thinking
yeah.
if we get enough footage from you guys, we would do that like more regularly as
Yeah.
well. Where
I
we
doubt we'll get footage to do it regularly, but
no.
maybe at least a video or two.
Yeah, because then it would be like educational for you as well if you're a beginner, but
Yeah, it
also
could be
if you're
fun.
more
Yeah.
if you're more intermediate or experienced as
Yeah.
well, we could review that because
See if there's something good.
yeah,
Like this guy, he got it dialed in. Check
Yeah.
this shit out.
check this shit out or not. We could review each other's forms.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
True.
that would be fun.
Mm.
But yeah, we will pick that up in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see you next time.
See. Sign it off.
Sign it off.